What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. 8 months since Avengers Endgame's release, and with countless viewings in 4K by both the superfans and the media alike, it took the official release of the script and screenwrite by Disney to find an enormous Easter egg, or shall I say several, for Beta Ray Bill tucked into Avengers Endgame. What's more, we're all staring at it alone in frame several times by himself, and we all completely missed it. We're going to break down the segment of the script that clearly odes to Korbinites. They use them by name more than once, show you what scene that corresponds with in Avengers Endgame. No, it's not the final battle, and then most importantly break down what this means for when we finally meet Beta Ray Bill and hopefully the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or even more probably in Love and Thunder Thor 4, and what it'll mean for his backstory that we actually got to see play out on screen. Like I said, we're going to break the whole thing down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including 2 copies of the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So as we covered a couple of days ago at the channel, Disney went ahead and released the official script for the screenwrite consideration for the Oscars for Marcus and McFeely, and in doing so we have a ton of the annotated notes, some of the things that are said in between the dialogue and stage direction, details for the movie we wouldn't otherwise know. And tucked into the script in the middle of the second act, they clearly talk about Korbinites, which is the race of people that Beta Ray Bill is from. The scene in question, as reported by comicbook.com, involves the first time we see Gamora, Zoe Saldana, back in 2014's flashback. She and Bad Nebula, Karen Gillian, are fighting those mechanized warriors, Korbinites, according to the script. As the script reads, beginning on page 63, Bad Nebula cuts down a Korbinite soldier with dual blades. She leads Thanos' troops onward as they lay waste to the Korbinite homeworld. Beta Ray Bill is a Korbinite, so let's take a look at the exact scene they're talking about. You'll remember it cues up right after Rhodey asks, "Where are you now?" talking about the reference to when good Karen Gillian, or rather the good Nebula who's already in the future, tells him that they need to lay low. They're not the only ones looking for the stone. Then it cues into this scene right here, and for several frames over the next 2 minutes, we get our first look at living, breathing Korbinites in the MCU. Now, before you say, but wait a minute, Beta Ray Bill is a horse-faced guy, that doesn't look long enough to be a horse face. We're going to get into that. I'm going to show you the frames now that you can see him the most clear. He's fighting with Nebula one-on-one before another one of the warriors bests her, and then of course Gamora steps in to save her. You can clearly see her in the 2 frames, and then here another clear shot. You'll notice that the helmet has the normal protrudings off the side, but again, the geometry on the head is the one thing that gave me pause, and you get a better look here at the chin area for said head when she's skewering him with one of her dual blades. Either way, the helmet has the normal protrudings off the side like Beta Ray Bill. It's normally portrayed in one of 2 ways, either a solid metal flap made to look like wings, or the vintage style and even crazier enlarged wings on the side of Hermes' helmet in Greek mythology. Either way, when compared back to that original screenshot, you can see there on the back of the helmet or on the higher part of the back, they've got the extruding prongs meant to be an ode to that. Now, we actually have a picture of Beta Ray Bill in the MCU on the side of the Guardians Tower, but it's hard to get a high-def shot. Of course, here is the best look you can get at it, a very clean res shot, and it looks very similar to the head you can see inside that helmet. In fact, the geometry is almost exactly the same. In the comics, it looks much longer, but it looks like they've decided to maybe make the lower jaw a little bit smaller. When you compare this to both the original screenshot in the beginning, you can see the geometry fits exactly, especially compared to this shot here that I showed where Nebula's hitting him in the head with one of her dual blades. You can see the bottom of his jaw, and that matches perfectly for a Korbinite and what we've seen on the side of the tower. What's more, in that third screen grab, can you see the back of his helmet there? It sort of looks like it turns into sort of a flat flap coming off of the back. Compare that back to the helmet that he's wearing on the side of the tower. They look almost exactly the same, meaning that outside of the script's confirmation that these were actually Korbinites, they followed the same base CGI model for size and shape for the Korbinites in the MCU. Beta Ray Bill's one of them, and these are them. Now, before you leave this video and go run to your own DVD and see if there's any other shots or if there were any shots of them without their helmet, there's only two broader shots of the scene without specific ones in frame. You can clearly see that here, a couple of them scattered down in the bottom left part of the frame. Then there's one other shot you can see here. There's a ton of them. Even if you mess with the lighting on some of these and try to really brighten them up, you cannot see any of these soldiers with their helmet off. You cannot see any of the Korbinite faces. We have yet to see that in the MCU, and I'm sure they're waiting to do the quote-unquote face reveal with Beta Ray Bill. Speaking of which, the other huge takeaway and implication from this scene, other than these being living and breathing Korbinites and us getting to see their homeworld for the first time, is that this is seemingly the origin story for Beta Ray Bill playing out in the middle of Avengers Endgame. That's insane. Much like Richard Rider and the Nova Corps, the destruction of Xandar is going to be tied to his origin story. Beta Ray Bill takes off when his homeworld is threatened to find a way to defend it. That's what leads him directly into Asgard and that initial conflict with Thor when it's revealed that he himself can actually wield Mjolnir, and then is granted his own version from the now deceased Odin and Stormbreaker, which we also know is in the MCU the second of 3 Easter eggs now in Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. It's seemingly leading to him getting Stormbreaker, but just how we don't know. The initial rumor was that Beta Ray Bill would show up in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but of course when James Gunn got fired and rehired, that shuffled the release date for that movie quite a bit, and in lieu of that, we now have Taika Waititi biting off the mighty Thor for Thor Love and Thunder that would squarely include Beta Ray Bill's origin story. Obviously, some things are going to have to change. Stormbreaker is there though, and even though Odin is deceased and there's no worthiness enchantment on that axe, some of the details still line up perfectly, as in if their homeworld was destroyed in 2014 by the events of Infinity War, they could just be a group of refugees, and if Asgard was truly set up the way that Korg said it would be at the end of Ragnarok, and in lieu of the snap wiping out half of the universe, they may have landed in New Asgard on Earth, meaning that wherever the story picks up in Thor Love and Thunder in a couple of years, they're going to need some backstory and filler anyway. It'll be really easy to bring everybody up to speed on Beta Ray Bill, maybe even with one flashback, especially if they contextualize it during Avengers Endgame. We're all exactly going to know what happened to him. He was one of Thanos' conquest, and since it's Taika Waititi at the helm and Taika Waititi is just going to do Taika Waititi, you have to imagine that it's going to be something like Thor finally gets back from wherever he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy, only to find out that there's a new Thor, and that's Beta Ray Bill, and their conflict will probably be out of something like identity or jealousy or something similar to that. Eventually, and undoubtedly though, he's going to get that Stormbreaker, we just don't know how. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this. First of all, how mind-blowing is this that we were all staring Korbinites square in the face, literally and pun intended, and that not a single one of us noticed, even people like me who were literally going frame by frame as soon as the 4K came out, looking at everything, just didn't cross my mind ever that those might be Korbinites. Also, since here we are 8 months later, still finding new things and new Easter eggs like this, what do you think is still hidden in this movie? Let me know down in the comments if you've had any inkling, especially during that final battle scene, if you've been scouring the 4K version, if you think you found anything. As always, put them in the comments. I get a ton of DMs about this almost every day, and there's a lot more wrong than right, but sometimes you guys are onto something and have some really good ideas. I'm all ears. Put them in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 550,000 subscriber mark. We're headlong into that, could easily hit that by next month's end. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on. Leave a like and a comment on this video. The more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning, and that automatically enters you to win the PlayStations and all the other prizes we're giving away here at the channel, including the 2 limited edition Infinity Saga box sets. These were limited in production to 4,000 and completely sold out on pre-order. When people finally got them, they put them on sale for ridiculous prices on eBay. We got our hands on 2 here at the channel to give away. We'll be giving away the first of which on New Year's Eve, and a lot of people don't listen to the 10-minute mark in a video, so those of you who sit to the end, you're hearing this first. New Year's Eve, regardless of subscriber count, we'll be giving away the first Infinity Saga box set. It'll be in the video that day. I have a banger lined up for you guys. If you want to be entered to win, either of the Infinity Saga box sets, either of the PlayStations, or any of the other prizes that we're giving away throughout the channel next year. Speaking of which, we'll be doubling down. I've mentioned this in other videos. We're going to be giving away Oculus Rift virtual reality headsets and a ton of stuff, and giving away twice as many giveaways next year as we did this year, doubling down for you guys because this has been incredible. If you want to be entered to win any of this stuff, all the same rules apply. If for some reason you're first finding my channel, it will always be this way. All you have to do, sub to the channel, turn on notifications with the notification bell, then leave a like and a comment on the video. And the more videos you like and comment on, because it's truly random, the better chance you have of winning. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.